All right, hey guys, how we doing? Sam here with you. It's Friday, the 22nd of March. Yep, yeah, 22nd of March. Now, since normally we do Bitcoins on Friday, but since we did Bitcoin yesterday, as we wanted to announce the winners of our contest, we did the polling here, and first up by request is a look at Ethereum, and I can understand why this is a challenging count. Partly because it can be interpreted a couple of different ways, but what I did, which is something that I often suggest to members do, or if you're watching on YouTube, I just went to a blank chart and said, it's very easy to get biased by a prior count. So I just stripped it bare and just went through the whole series here to see if I could really get clarity on all the subdivision. And even with that, there's still areas that we're just open to interpretation here. It could be counted a couple of different ways. So I understand the interest in trying to get some clarity here. Now, so as I said, right, so you look here and you go, well, the problem is, so it looks like you get impulse here, correction, impulse. So you can definitely get a count here that plays. I can get a 1, 2, 3, very deep 4, of course, but we hold the 1. So I can get a completed impulse here. Now it's, again, I know it's open to interpretation. I've had counts I've considered. I have an alternate that has this going into an ABC here. There's just a lot of different ways to count this. But this count, I would call this the more bullish of the alternatives here, because there are some very bearish counts here that maybe we'll just touch on a little bit. But because I can get this to play as a completed impulse here. Now the second also equally challenging because of the lack of depth of any retracement. So per just having worked through this, I think we get a completed impulse here. We go into a triangle here, which I'm calling the B, and then we come down, we finish in 5, but I think we have just a very slight truncation in the 5th. There's a couple of ticks, so essentially a double bottom. But we don't get clarity here on this, on the 5 to finish down here. But coming off of that, because we get 5, we get a 5-wave subdivision here. I do think this plays better as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1. Again, very skinny too. The lack of depth in these retracements is making these tricky. So, but then again, working through the subdivision, yeah, it's a push here. It's a little bit of a stretch to get 5 in to get that 5th to play. But this is so characteristic. This sideways action here, so characteristic of a 4th. I'm inclined to lean into the 4 here, and then 1, 2, very skinny, 3, 4. Right, they all break down at some point. So, what's the alternate? You'd have to call that an ABC. I think we can stay with this until proven otherwise. So it's the same problem coming down. Where's your 2? Right, you can put the 2 up here. So it's open to some interpretation here. Now there are a few things that are interesting here. Okay, first off, so this has gone very deep. So if this is 1, 2, well, we're clearly past the golden zone. We went 7, 8, 6 here. But then again, so if that's correctly identified as the 2, and then we've got yet again another 1, well, we're looking for something technical here, of course. So now I'm going to use the lower of the 2 pivots because it's tempting to use it, but the algorithm is going to use the lower of the 2. So if I pull up here to this pivot, now note we get just a very slight break here of the golden zone. So you lose, well, you could make this case. You could make the case that from the low, because we get a new high here, that you've come to the 50. So I show this on different degrees here, but essentially we have this 3-wave structure that we know the algorithms like. So that 50 is just where you're looking for the reaction. So it's a judgment call here. The break of the golden zone on this swing, not without significance, but we can deduce from that with this break off of this swing here. Well, so you look and you go, oh, okay, well, what's the algorithm going to do next? It's just going to take the next 50. So from swing high to swing low, what do we do? Right, so we don't have to wonder what happened there. We know software kicked in to sell with that as its target. Now, it's the same kind of thing here. So you look here and you go, well, you know, hard to argue with that as a 3 wave. So just kind of checking the technicals within the internals here. Again, an ever so slight here. It's like one, maybe two tick break here. But look what happens. We go right. We look at the confluence here. We go right to target as we hit the 50. It's a tough one here. So is it the sell side algo selling here with this as the target, buy side taking profit, you know, for whatever reason, maybe they stayed long. It's very hard to know what happens when you have a one tick break like that, but yet it goes to target to the tick. So you might say, well, that's not what it is because that broke. This is just the sell side taking that short. Well, if this is going to play as an ABC, if we're going to break down here, we don't lose the bullish count. However, we have lost the buy side algorithm, right? So here we go. Okay, so this is the break. This is the last thing the algorithm did. So we're selling here. This is the target down here, and we get a bit of confluence down here that's worth noting. Bring this down and share it there. So if we're going to come down like this, again, this would be the more bullish of the potential alternates here, because the severely bearish alt would have this coming down as a 1, this is a 2, and now we're going 3, 4, and we're going much lower. I don't think that's what's happening here, but I can't eliminate that possibility. So there has to be an alternate that you're considering somewhere, and that in that context, this is all just a big ABC, right? And now this is the 1, 2, and we're going 3, and we're going much lower. We'd be certainly pushing 30, 40, 50 in that range if that were going to play as a completed impulse to finish something. But I don't think we have to hit the alarm bells just yet if you're an Ethereum bull. So sorry, excuse me. So this, I think if we're going to break down here now, so is there a bullish alternate here? Well, I guess you can make a case that we can't eliminate the possibility that there's a diagonal going in. So how would we have to count that? Then you'd have to play this as, it's a bit like Bitcoin. So you'd have to go A, B, C, and so this would be your 2. It would play as a 2, even though we break the golden zone, and that somehow this is a 1, 2. Shit, you could do it a couple of different ways. So I don't like this as a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is too deep. This is too short. But you could have just the ABC going in. So we could have this of a diagonal that would get us out of here with at least a motive wave. But certainly that's not anything to ignore. Now, coming back the other direction, interestingly, there's a lot going on here. So if we look here now. Okay, so remember, just as I described to you how they like this pattern here. They like this alternating ABC, right? They rarely will you not see a reaction at the 50 of the 618 after that ABC pattern. Well, essentially we get it again here, just on a lower degree. So here we get this little, it's the little ABC or 3-wave structure. Look what happens at the 618. That's our reaction. Where's the target? So if we go up and get that, if and you know, remains to be seen, but look where that would put us, right? So now we're at the golden zone on the sell side. So the algorithm that starts selling here at this 50 is going to defend here. So this could go up, hit that target just in time to kick the algorithm in here that's going to sell with the same target down here. Well, now what would you call that? Well, then maybe you're still thinking that it's corrective and that you've got an A, B, C. So you'd be looking for 3, 3. You know, you can dig a 3 out of this, so you're going to need 5 here if that's going to finish to maintain the idea that that's corrective. And what would influence you most is how short this is. I think this is going to play better as a diagonal if this is the 1, this is the 2, and we're going to get a bigger 3 here. So that will be, to some degree, a real tell here based on how we respond here. If this is going to hold here as the 618, well, if we're going to get up and get through this resistance, which we know is going to be there, right? So we don't have to wonder, right? We can see what the algorithm did here. We get through this and we get over 100. We go to some of these upper targets. Then this is going to start to look better as a leading diagonal to get us into the 1 of the 3rd of the degree higher. So this being 1, so you'd have to bring the the 2 over here, so then we'd be in the 1 of the third. Hopium? Maybe. This is, it's hard not to see this as the more likely of the 2 scenarios, but since I've got, I mean, obviously we got algorithms in here, so since that's such a perfect pivot there, and they're going here, you know, it's always interesting to go into the weekends in crypto because we can anticipate the potential for volatility. This is often where we see it. So this break here will be significant. This has already broken. This, right? If they're going to break that again, well, what's the reaction here? Now, shit, we could just go sideways. Note here, we're sitting at the point of control. So in this visible range here of what we can see of all this trading, we're sitting here right at the price point with the most agreement through that entire series, right? The highest price point right here. So, you know, so where are we? So we're still stuck, just like Bitcoin, we're still stuck in a big range. So anything that we're doing here, this is, you know, professional guesstimation, right? That's all we can do, right? Well, shit, that's all you really get ever is just probabilities and then money management. So you don't have to be right. Remember, guys, you do not, and you should not expect to be right more than you're wrong, which is why ultimately the most important skill is how you manage the risk. All we're ever doing here with Elliott Wave is just looking for probability zones, confluence zones. Can we look for pattern, price, time, geometry, oscillators? Can we get a confluence of things that would tell us there's a potential trade here? But that doesn't mean that you know what's coming next. Nobody knows. I don't know. I just put together a probability zone. Well, here, look, so I can see what, you know, that's all you get to do. So we can identify, we know algorithms are in here. What'd they do last? Well, through process of elimination, this one broke, this one broke, this one held. So where are they? What did the algorithm do last? Of everything on the board here, I can see 2 pivots that they took, right? So they took this one with that goal, and they took this one here, perfect tick of the golden zone. They got that goal. So it's one or the other, right? One of these 2 algorithms wins, right? We have no way to know who's behind them. Fuck, it could be the same person. No way to know, or the same company, or the same bank, same hedge fund. We have no idea. No way to know. But what did they do last? One sold here, one bought here. So where's it going? Well, well, shit, you know, you can flip a coin, right? But we can use the pattern, the repetition of patterns to identify probable paths. And if X happens, then Y is likely to happen next. But likely, not must happen. There is no must, there is no, oh, well, now I know what's coming next. No, take that out of your vocabulary. Nobody knows. Nobody. All right, so you see someone on Twitter saying, I know exactly what's coming next. I would suggest unfollow. Because if somebody is that arrogant to tell you that they know what's coming, they're full of shit because nobody knows, right? They're trying to sell you something. Or they've got an agenda because nobody knows. Anyone who tells you they know is lying to you. So I do not know what's coming next. Let's be clear. But I can put together a trade. I don't hate the long side here. I don't like it enough to buy it because I don't like this. So this gives me enough pause to say, yeah, it's technical. I can see what the algorithm did here, but I'm lacking confidence here. Now, if this had been bigger, if I'd had a bigger move here on this kick here, well, then I'd be a lot more confident on the buy side. Here, we're just stuck in a fib fight, right? You got one algorithm fighting for the sell, one fighting for the buy, which is almost always the case. Remember, there's always an algo on the other side. So where do we go from here? Well, right now, how about we get out of this channel? How about we just get, here we're just sitting at the point of control. Which way do we go? You can make just as valid a case that we're going down as we're going up. So perhaps the rational conclusion after listening to me talk here for 14, those of you that are still listening, the rational conclusion is to say no trade. Until you have confidence and you can create all of the conditions, the parameters. Do I have everything that I want to see here? Do I have any help from the oscillators? Not really. You know, we've gone hot, we're cold, you know, so we're the RSI is hot at the 50, we're oversold here, we're overbought here, right as we ting to algo pivots. Who's going to win? Absolutely no way to know. Now, if once we break out of this channel, then I'm going to get more interested. If we break up here, now I have a better feel for where we are. If we break down here, no problem. Am I sad? Not really. Yeah, I'm long Ethereum long term, but it doesn't invalidate the bullish count. I would actually prefer it if we did this, because now I have I have more confidence in where we are. So I'm much more comfortable with the trade here than I am with the trade here, because I don't know what the fuck that is. It could be three things. I want to see which one of these algos gets to target. Now, this actually almost makes it worse. So if this algorithm wins here, and we get to this golden zone and this target, now what do we have? Well, it's got 5 swings. Motive? Well, you'd need to check. Well, now take note here. You'd need to check, because you can look here. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 3 is shorter than 1. So you're going to have to check whether 5 would be longer than 3. And if it gets to this point, it will be. So I would actually prefer to see it come down, even though I'm long Ethereum, because now I have a better idea. So this would be a place to add on the long side. Here, I'm not doing anything until I get more certainty about where we are. This, now I have a better feel for it. A, B, C. Now, do we come down in 5? Can I get 5 out of it? Then I like it all the better. Well, so let me clear some of this up here before I wrap up, because there's just a few little things to note here. Oh, this one here. So I thought this was interesting. So from the low here, the start of this, if I go up to my pivot here, it's to the tick. So I've got, this is a modified Schiff, right? So it's much like a channel, but not an identical to a channel like a modified. This is just the Schiff pitchfork. I think it's, yes, it is the Schiff. Yes, we're up. Wait a minute, pardon me, I take that back. It is Schiff. I thought maybe we went over 50. So we're up 50 here on the median line. All right, that's coincidence? Maybe. It's not insignificant. All right, I'm right on that low. Yeah, I'm right on it. Right, so I locked these in. I used the magnet to find that. I think I'm right on it. All right, so I mean, doesn't surprise me that we pivot there. Now, is it the 50? Is it the median line? Is it the combination of the two? We don't have a relationship here that's perfect, right? So we don't quite make the 100. Right, so you'd like to have seen this make the 100. So is it the 50? Is it the algorithm kicking in to sell there denies the 100? Maybe. Right, but right, there are no random pivots. There's always a reason. Why does it stop there? First question. Well, if you can identify one thing, what else is there? Right? Can you stack the deck and say, that looks pretty interesting? But of course, as I just drew it up to you, you think, oh shit, I know, I got it. All right, so down we go. What stops it? Golden zone. Right, so there is just no way to know where we're going next. But the break, whoever wins here, right, is going to be a bit of a tell. Right, so it's a hurry up and wait in here, just to get more clarity, so that we can just have more confidence in whatever the next trade is. All right, okay, guys. Kind of went long-winded there, but just a couple things to show you, and just nobody knows where it's going. All right, guys, talk to you later.